this all went down? Kind of a unique position.
Very unique. So, I'd say probably about 5 weeks ago, got a call from Coach Bielma. We sat down, had a chat, and I came out to visit with him. Started kind of going through everything to see where this thing was going. First and foremost, the situation with Ben, which is it's tough, and it's everybody needs to be saying prayers for him to get him through this thing, and he's doing better. I know Brett's had some comments about how he's been doing, so I get a chance to spend time with Ben, so we're talking, kind of comparing notes and doing what we can. But we got out here. We had a meeting, came back, had another meeting with him, decided it was going to be a good fit, and so we jumped in. Here we are.
Yeah, why is this something you wanted to pursue?
Well, part of it is obviously Coach Bill and I go back a long ways, and so we were teammates together at the University of Iowa. He was at K-State, obviously, while I was there. I've always admired the stuff that he does and how he does it. His experiences have been really, really good for him, and to me, it was an opportunity to come learn. And so I know and hope Ben's back, and he's back in the saddle, and if I come out of this thing learning something and gaining something for myself, then I'm in great shape. And that's the thing, you never stop learning. So,
just how unique is it in your position to come in as a new coach, but it's going to be a new punter, a new kicker, a new long snapper this season as well?
Yeah, that I have more concern over getting to know all the guys and where we're going to fit them in at positions. Right now, Hugh has been punting the ball pretty well. Kayla's been doing a nice job, and all the snappers are doing a good job. And so we've got, it's coaching those guys and getting them kind of where they're consistent. That's a big point right now. I think they're going to be in a pretty good place by the time we get to season. They're talented guys, and they'll be where they need to be.
Coach, are there some other areas of expertise that you bring to the staff besides just special teams?
Well, I've been a DFO and special teams guy my whole life. So as far as a position coach, I have not coached a position at this point in time.
How about recruiting?
Recruiting, I've recruited a lot of areas. Texas, obviously the Midwest, and been out west, recruiting California, Colorado, areas out there.
Sean, is your expertise, Brett talked yesterday about your expertise being a little unique, and still most special teams guys still don't have a kicking per se expertise.
Correct.
It's your bread and butter, and so these guys at Illinois, Caleb, Hugh, they won't have to go to an outside private guy to help them with kicking specifically.
No, and that's what will transition for them, I think, pretty quick, because they're really good learners. Yeah. They're really good adjusters. And so as we go through this with them, they'll gain ground every day and get better. It's going to take, we'll go through a little hump where we'll try something here, try something there. It'll be maybe a bad day or two, and then get back into it. But the good thing is it's day to day. And so it's not they get some work one day and then 2 weeks later they get some more work. It's every day now. So, and they're diligent about what we're doing. I mean, they're on top of it, and they're jumping in.
Sean, you have a unique perspective of knowing Brett for so long at different stages of his career. What do you see out of him now that made you buy into being here?
I see a lot of Coach Snyder in him. We were joking about that the other day. He's very detailed what he does. He does a tremendous job of evaluating everything, from the food that goes to the players to what's happening. I haven't been in game day with him, but to what happens on game day. And the detail has been really impressive. And he pushes, which I think is a really, really unique thing. He does a great job of pushing coaches to get better, and he does it in a very good way. And so those are the things I've seen as he's grown through his career that I've really, really seen now.
He's mentioned your dad as kind of an example of what he wants to do here. What's that mean to you? Obviously, being part of the fan.
Discipline, structure, accountability. Those are the things that I think in a program, if you can manage that with players these days, I think you got a long ways to go. I mean, and players really appreciate it. I mean, if you're being held accountable, I mean, just like we all are, if we're held accountable to what we're doing and we're getting better, we may not like it at the moment, but at the end of the day, we're going to really appreciate it and appreciate that somebody put me in that position. And so that's the thing that I think he's doing here. And it's not just players, it's coaches and everybody. And so I think that grows the whole organization.
Brett mentioned the NCAA rule change this summer that allowed coaches to actually be on the field with the ball and coach a little bit was important. And how big was it that you could just jump in right when you got here, sort of work with those guys instead of waiting until yesterday?
No, it was real good to be able to do that, because if we had to wait, and that's one of the things, coming in if you're an analyst, you're not able to get your hands on the players and be able to get them in all the things that you want to communicate to them. And that has to go through coaches, and as that goes through coaches to them, there's always something that you have from experience that you're not always getting out the right way. And I think the coaches here do a tremendous job coaching with special teams. But being on the field, you need a special teams coordinator that carries the voice of the overall, with the assistants that are helping and helping run the drills and positions and that kind of stuff. So being on the backside of it, it's just hard for the communication to get everywhere where you need it to be.
Sean, is it different or pretty much the same where you've been, where it seems like there's 6 or 7 on-field guys, assistants-wise, that are willing to jump in and help you with a small aspect of special teams?
Absolutely. So, when I was at USC, the guys were really good that jumped in and helped out there. And then at K-State, always had good guys that would help out. And that's the whole thing. When you got so many different parts going on, you've got to have the coaches help and jump in, and that's one thing that's been really, really good here. Coach Bielma's he's on every unit, so he's coaching a spot as well. So it's really good. Coach,
throughout your career, have you had a specific philosophy on who you're throwing out there on the return and coverage teams? And do you want to see starters out there, or?
I'm open to everybody on the team. So when it comes down to starters, if a guy is willing to get out there and do what he's asked to do and spend time on it, I'm going to put him out there, and I minimize those guys to 2 units. If you're a second, third, or fourth string, it doesn't make any difference to me. I want guys that are dedicated to the special teams, they're paying attention to what's going on in meetings, and they're spending some extra time in the film room watching film. And so those guys that have that kind of dedication to it, they're going to be fine. They're going to be good. And at Kansas State, I played with mostly second, third, and fourth stringers. At USC, I did the same thing, and we'll see how this pans out. But it's wide open.
You have the perspective of actually being a really good specialist yourself. When you start, first time these guys will be starters at their positions, what's the key to getting them ready for that?
Well, I think a lot of the stuff we'll do through practice. We'll get them ready and get them there. Practices are always going to be pretty fast-paced. We do a lot of fundamental work and carry it into full team coverage stuff. And so at the end of the day, the fast pace and having a good scout team, and that's one thing we talk about an awful lot, is getting the scout team players to really give a good look. And as long as we're getting that, those guys will be ready when time comes.
How do you kind of view your role knowing it's a situation where you're still talking with Ben, and ideally he gets back to full health at some point, is able to get back in here pretty soon?
Say that again.
Yeah, how do you kind of view your role differently, knowing that, with Ben potentially coming back again after this year, it might be kind of a temporary situation?
No, well, that was my big hang up initially, to be honest with you, is it's a temporary position. You're coming in and getting started. The conversations that Coach and I had, and the conversations I've had with Ben has made that for me a very comfortable situation. So I understand what it is, and for me, it's coming in here and doing the best that I can, everything the best I can with these guys, and doing it in a way that, with Ben and with Coach, that we're all married up together, and so we don't have any issues there, and it's been really, really good. So.
Did you cross paths with Courtney Mess?
He was there. So the year that I went off the field, he came in with Coach Kleiman, and so I was there that year and then left at the end.
Is there any unique perspective you can give for somebody that's also coming into a new spot like this and what he can bring to the staff?
Oh, Coach Messingham is a really good tight ends coach, with what they'll do. I'm sure there's some different techniques and different things. We all coaches have different stuff that we do, so have a little bit of a different perspective for the players to be able to see and experience. And I say he's been a really, really good offensive coordinator as well, and so he'll bring that to the table when it comes to game planning and stuff like that with Coach Lenny. So I think at the end of the day, he brings a real strong value as well.